fish down there. And when you look over here, it's another big pool of fish. They're not very big, but they're all over. Oh, there's one good salmon hole here. It's all fish there and along the bedrock. This is my dredge hole up here. John dredged with me yesterday, and we moved him, and he went to a different spot. This is my dredge hole there. The big flat rock right there in the middle is bedrock. Then right behind it, there's a step down that goes down. It's almost a foot straight down. That ledge comes across bedrock across the stream. So what I'm going to try to do is just follow that ledge along and today and move these rocks here and just keep following it. I won't go very far that way because that's the rock pile from yesterday. But you can see it's just a straight down shot. Just a perfect straight vertical edge, about 10 inches to a foot deep there. That bedrock's going to come over here across the front end of John's hole. There's not a lot of water running in here. When we were running the dredge, both dredges, almost every bit of water in the creek was going through the dredges. John's dredge was sitting there and mine was sitting right about where it is right now. Worked out pretty good. It's got enough drop behind it because it's sitting up in the air a little bit that the tailings disperse fairly well. There's some good sized rocks here, but they all seem to be movable so far. It's a good mixture of cobbles. Down there's the fish hole. Kim's taking pictures too before I came and get the water muddy. Got a little nugget there. Go ahead and reach down and pick it up, John. And hold it there. Got to refocus, so. That's what he just picked up right there.
It's probably about a penny weight, something like that.
Nice looking. This is really rough dredging. I'll back up and I'll show you why. We're in 4-inch dredges, next to no water. And where he is, there's very little water. So he's got about 3-4 inches of water, just enough to cover the nozzle. That's where he's been working. All kinds of little fish in here. You can see them right there going through. They're right in here with us. Out of John's dredge, go down a little ways, and I'm running into the water that's come through his dredge. There's just no water flow in this stream at all. He was getting discouraged a little bit ago with this working in no water, but then he started seeing gold. That's about the third or fourth piece he's picked up. Believe it or not, we're dredging. That's the sound of a dredge you hear in the background. Notice a little waterway cut. Goes over to the dredge, where most of the whole streams run to the dredge. I'm running right behind him. When he runs, I can run. He's been finding some nice gold right in there. Picking it out with his fingers instead of even sucking it up with a dredge. Really hard dredging though. Dredge is barely idling. There's not enough water to run any more throttle. But he's finding good gold, so that's what counts. Down ran for an hour this morning. This is what he got off the front mat of his dredge. This isn't even a full cleanup, but this is where most of the gold sits. So we finally got into it a little better than what we've been the last couple of days. Yesterday was great. He probably got a 1/4 ounce or better yesterday. A lot of it he just picked up off of the rock by finger. Didn't even go through the dredge. We're doing more low water dredging today. John's dredge feeds right down into where I'm working. My dredge is barely putting along. We got pretty much the whole stream running to our dredge. Well, it's our last day probably. We're just kind of running out of places to work. Just not any water here. It makes it real difficult. John came in and got started early. It's not even 9 o'clock yet, so this is very rarely that I get out to stream this early. This is what the spot looks like. There's the river we're dredging right there. Kind of pathetic, really. You throw the big rocks in, you kind of just scoop the gravel into where you have the dredge nozzle in kind of a little hole. A little bit of activity downstream from us.